In this video, we'll go more into detail about Tehama's configuration, installation, and troubleshooting software, also known as the CIT or CIT. We'll show you how to use the CIT for monitoring the utility data generated by MDTs and how to maintain a site with some useful troubleshooting steps. First, let's review the 3 tabs at the bottom of the CIT window. The Activity tab keeps a running log file of what the CIT is doing. The Grid Filtering tab can filter what you see in the various grid views, such as only MDTs or repeaters, or specific alerts, or individual buildings. You can also filter by icons. The 3rd tab gives a description of the various icons used in the CIT. Hover over an icon to get a description of what each one does. Note that some icons indicate different information depending on whether they are for repeaters or MDTs. Sensor reading, sensor consumption, and get monitor data from decap and graphing. Let's connect to a site to observe some utility data. When you first connect to a site, the CIT will download one 24-hour period. This is enough to get a quick snapshot of the health of the site by looking at the statistics shown here in the upper left. Often, however, you might want to see more data. For example, last month's consumption. Click the down arrow button to bring up a calendar, select the start and end dates, and click OK. After the data loads, click on the Data button to reveal 4 tabs that show various data. If this is the first time connecting to the site, you will start by seeing the Meter Readings tab. In the various grid views, you can sort on any column, including the icon, by clicking in the header row. Click again to reverse the sort order. If you want to zero in on a specific apartment or device, use the text filtering box in the upper right. This will filter on anything in the grid, from radio ID to apartment number. Note that when you are using this filter, and the grid filtering we just reviewed, asterisks will appear in the tab names to visually remind you that you are viewing data in a filtered mode. Click the X to clear the filter. Let's sort on the consumption column to identify excessive users. The Sensor 1 reading column gives the most recent meter reading downloaded, with that timestamp shown in the last log reading column next to it. The Sensor 1 consumption column gives the total consumption over the range of time downloaded, in this case 1 month. The consumption value is simply the difference between the first and last reading. You can bring up a graph of usage by clicking either the reading or the consumption cell. The graph is displayed below the grid. You can hover over the graph to get the readings at that point in time. You can change the view to a bar graph to display hourly or daily consumption. To zoom in, drag the mouse around the time of interest. Note that the consumption value above the graph changes as you zoom. We see this tenant used over 5,000 gallons in this one 24-hour period. Reset the zoom by right-clicking and selecting Set Scale to Default. The right-click menu also has options for exporting the data as a CSV or image file, or copying to the clipboard to paste into an email or report. Troubleshooting Data tab. Now let's look at Network Health and Troubleshooting, located under the Troubleshooting Data tab. The columns here show data such as the link quality, battery voltage, and the most recent link partner. The link partner is the device an MDT or repeater is directly communicating with. Link quality is the most useful for evaluating how well devices are communicating and is displayed on a scale from 0 to 100. A well-behaving unit will have a stable link partner and a link quality greater than 50. If it is under 25, this is a good indication that an extra repeater may be needed. We can sort on link quality to see the worst performers. Like with meter readings, this data can be graphed by clicking on the cell. A more useful graph is shown by clicking on the link partner cell. This combines the link partner, link quality, and hop count into one graph. Now let's look at the poor performers. Here we see a repeater with a red check icon, immediately indicating it is not communicating well. Clicking on the link partner cell brings up the performance graph, and we can see it is a mess. It is okay for a repeater to jump between link partners once or twice a day, the blue graph, but this one is bad. Let's see how the other repeaters are doing. You can select devices from the network tree, so let's select other repeaters. There are a few jumps between link partners, and a steady and decent link quality, shown in green. This is okay. But we also have a problem here. It is behaving worse than the other red one, and we see all the MDTs using it are performing poorly. You can also see that all these MDTs are in the same building, so it's pretty clear a repeater is needed between Building 5 and the decap. One other item to check for when troubleshooting is the battery voltage. We can also sort on this column to find any MDTs with low batteries. Custom View. The Custom View tab allows you to select any data from over 30 available parameters. Right-click in the grid and select Set Custom View. The data available and a description of each is shown. Check the box on the ones you want to display and click the Use Settings button. This saved setting is used when you start the next CIT or reboot your PC. Finally, there is a Network Graph tab. This is an experimental tab which shows the repeater topology in graphical view. Reporting. The last topics here are the Reports and Options menu items. The most useful selection in Reports is the non-incrementing unit, which compares the current reading with one from 30 days ago and lists those that show zero consumption. This is usually a sign of bad wiring or a broken read switch in the meter. Finally, let's review the Options menu. Many of these should be left alone if you are not sure what they do. The most useful is the option to display radio IDs in either hexadecimal or decimal format. We prefer the hex format, but it is easy to change if you are more accustomed to using decimal systems. Changing this option is effective immediately and remains this way through subsequent invocations of the CIT. This concludes our closer look at the CIT. Please check out other videos in the resources section of our website to learn more about how to set up and use the full line of Tehama wireless products.